In 1542, Spanish explorer Francisco de Orellana became the first European to navigate the river he would name Amazon. His chronicler, Gaspar de Carvajal, wrote of a land so populated that from one village you could see the smoke of the next. One encounter stood out, a battle with warrior women near the rivers Namunda and Trombetas. Women who governed themselves, traded widely, and defended their territory with precision. To Europe, it sounded like myth, but Orellana believed enough to die, returning to find them. His report was the first link, a witness pointing to a society that defied everything assumed about an empty forest. A single testimony can be doubted, but the scale of what he described, a network of villages, organized territories, was a clue that reality itself was larger than their myths. This is the all-knowing owl. We trace where human memory and the Earth's own records meet. Centuries later, indigenous stories gave that report a name and a soul, the Icamiabas. The word means women who give milk, a community who left their tribes to build a society without men, except for an annual ritual of renewal. Under the full moon reflected in the lake Yasi-Warua, they dove for green clay and shaped it into sacred talismans, the Muiraquitãs. The clay hardened into jade, a covenant with the moon, with fertility, with a different way of living. The Icamiabas were not only warriors, they were botanists, potters, diplomats, keepers of a lunar cosmology connecting women's bodies to the forest's cycles. Orellana saw fighters. The legend remembered healers, mothers, lawmakers. Both stood on different banks of the same river of time. Now, scale reshapes the story. Carvajal wrote the Icamiabas ruled over 70 villages with watched roads and defended borders. That describes a network, a polity. Historians long dismissed this as colonial fantasy. Yet from the Xingu to the Tapajós, indigenous accounts tell of Muiraquitãs, women who became warriors, pages who led rituals, societies where women held spiritual and political authority. This is no coincidence. It is a pattern. Across the Amazon, stories preserve the memory of female power, matrilineal clans, societies organized around the generative force of women long before patriarchy became default. The question shifts, not did the Icamiabas exist, but what kind of civilization leaves such a consistent social memory? Then came LIDAR. From planes and drones, lasers pulsed down through the canopy millions of times per second, not to see the tops of trees, but to map the bare earth beneath. Each photon's return trip, timed to the nanosecond, sketched a ghost of the ground, a topographic whisper of what lay hidden for half a millennium. The canopy was digitally peeled away, and there was the answer, a civilization of millions. Vast urban networks, roads spanning hundreds of kilometers, terraces, reservoirs, managed landscapes. This was the Amazon Orellana glimpsed, not empty, but intensely inhabited. At this scale, millions over millennia, diverse social forms were inevitable. Female-led societies, matrilineal clans, warrior women, guarding territories. These are not mythical exceptions. They are logical features of a complex civilization. The Icamiabas legend is a cultural fossil. LIDAR unearthed the stratum it came from. Today, women like Mapulu, the first Kamayora Page, reclaim that legacy. They lead healing, guide communities, and remind us the Icamiabas were never just a story. They were a possibility, one that still lives in the forest's memory. Discovery is not finding what's lost. It's recognizing what never left. If you believe the deepest truths are kept in stories, stones, and soil, join the search. Subscribe to the All-Knowing Owl. Hit the bell. Help us listen to the many voices of this living world. The forest remembers. We are learning how to listen.